Maxey! Wow, what a play! He's got Bogdanovich thinking about a three. There it is! Yes! From beyond. Oh, and there's Boyle coming up with a steal. Curry open. It's for three. Yes!
And now, Morning Cup of Joe. What is up, everybody? Good morning, Sixers fan. Welcome to Morning Cup of Joe. It has been a second since our last Morning Cup of Joe, but today we are breaking down Sixers versus Jazz. We're talking about our top takeaways and looking a little bit deeper into compared to our post-game show. The Sixers got the L last night, moved to 14-12 on the season. To help me break it down, I've got the man, the myth, the legend. He is Tiago. Follow him on Twitter at @tscabia. Good morning, Tiago.
Good morning, Chris. It took a long, hard look last night's game to understand what went wrong. And a lot of it went wrong. So we're in the business trying to dissect what exactly happened. And I think we can talk about something that we all think can make the Sixers offense significantly better if they ever tap into more detail.
Yep. We have Ben Butler in the house saying good day. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Ben. Always glad to see you. Guys, if you're watching us live, be sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button if you love the Sixers. Let's jump right into this thing. You know, the Sixers are sitting at 14-12, but there are some bigger picture, long-term issues this season that have been very evident, and that is the lack of Sixers offense. And that leads with Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey, since Joel Embiid has returned, his points from November have gone down from 19.4 to 9.7. You look at his fourth quarter points, 5.9 fourth quarter points per game to 2.5 points per game. That's fifth best on the team. At one stretch of November, Tyrese Maxey was literally top in the NBA in fourth quarter points. You look at his usage rate, 21.8% down to 18.5%. That's less than Embiid and Tobias Harris, and just this much better than Furkan Korkmaz. Drives are down 11.1 to 7.8. That's second on the team to Tobias Harris. And you kind of look at, how do we fix this offense? Because it is literally sputtering. And that's what we're doing today. Tiago, where do you want to lead off?
Yeah, I think you touched on it. It's how to improve the Sixers offense by introducing one of your best ball handlers and your fastest, most explosive ball handler in the offense, right? So, you laid out all the stats, all the numbers that indicate Tyrese Maxey's usage and output in the offense has gone way down. And, we don't know what goes behind closed door meetings and how the Sixers have arrived at this juncture in their Maxey usage. And perhaps there's even reasons and they see in practice that we don't, that leads you to think that Maxey is not ready to shoulder a bigger load, especially in the half court, which again, it's fine. I mean, maybe they see things that we don't. At that point, you kind of concede to whatever they're seeing and go from there. But even still, there are ways that you can definitely have Tyrese Maxey as part of your offense. And the one area that we go directly to that is the Sixers' abysmally slow offense. And when we talk about abysmally slow offense, we're talking about dead last in NBA pace, 30th NBA pace. And we understand it's a post-centric offense built around your center, Joel Embiid, yes. But as we have seen in the past, so this should not preclude the Sixers from running a more up-tempo offense. And I think they have swung way back the other way to the point of they're just not running, period. And we prepared some basic stats that came out after last night's game. So the Sixers, as of today, are the 29th ranked offense in terms of transition output. Transition opportunities, 29th. You think about, picking up ball, rebound, and running, 29th ranked offense. I mean, that feels a little bit too low. But they are not a bad transition output offense, meaning they are the NBA second most effective transition offense in terms of transition output. They average, and I want to make sure I want to get this right. They average 1.20 points per transition output, which is second in the NBA. Second. Even more, Seth Curry, the guy that we're going to show in the highlight here with Tyrese Maxey, is the fourth highest player in transition output with, and again, I want to make sure I get this right, 1.42 points per transition possession. That is an outrageous number. But he only has 40 transition possessions. Just for context, his brother, the other Curry, has over 100. So you see the difference in style and play style, and that's kind of want to show it here in the video coming up here, Chris.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the key here is obviously, I mean, there's nothing too crazy that we're about to show, but it's the partnership between Maxey and Curry and what it adds to your offense if you let go of the reins. And it's off a simple miss, right? Just goes up, miss. Now look at Maxey. First and foremost, and that's really what I want to highlight on this video, is his ability to rebound and immediately evade pressure with his ball handling. And with one dribble, now he's got the defense entirely in scramble mode. And you contrast that with what we've seen time and again with the Sixers offense, right? It's rebound. Maxey at this point stops, and everybody has to get down up the court, and the Sixers offense kind of initiates from there. It is not what happened there. As you can see, Maxey kind of rebounded and said, screw this, we're running. And now you got Seth Curry, and here's the guy, again, 1.42 points per transition output. It's a dead-eye three-point shot. And that is where the Sixers can make their big gains offensively, I think. I mean, it should not be part of their, entire offensive arsenal. But when Maxey's on the court, possession like these, where he rebounds, again, uses that quick handle, breaks the defense off the dribble, and now we're going the other way. That is where I think the Sixers need to land more often to introduce Tyrese Maxey in the offense.
Nice. We got another one here too.
Yep. And again, nothing crazy, but we're going to follow the same thing, And you see already Curry off the miss, he's going to lurk out. So, Gobert, God bless him. Again, same thing. Yeah, same thing. And now you get a defense going the other way. It's you just running. It should be nothing crazy to this play, but it's a simple pass. And now you got what I really like about this is Curry's ball handling, right? So he's able to get the defense in good matchups because you get a bigger guy on him, he can shake that guy off the dribble and go right to him. So it is, in my opinion, I think, Chris, you probably see the same way. It's kind of inconceivable to think that the Sixers should be the 30th place offense and basically dead last in transition output with this kid on the court. I mean, you saw right there, we try to capture more instances of that happen, but it simply doesn't happen. But it should be much simpler offense than we've seen. It's rebound, miss, push. You got guys who can get out there, make shots, and take bigger guys off the dribble. Defense in transition is where you catch them, man. I mean, they're scrambling. They're trying to figure out matchups, and that's where you usually get your matchup advantages that you don't really get in the half court for the most part.
Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with cutting to the basket as well. If you look at the stats, the Sixers are dead last in cuts to the basket. You talk about ball movement, moving off the ball. There's none. It's literally just clear out, give the ball to Joel Embiid, dump it to Joel. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying there has to be more variety. There has to be more ball movement. There has to be something more to this offense. And cuts to the basket, Sixers are pretty good, 1.24 points per possession. That's like almost top 10 in the NBA. They are frequency dead last in the NBA. So just like transition buckets, that is an area of concern. And you also talk about, points off turnovers. The Sixers are near the worst in the NBA in points off turnovers. So, getting those loose balls and getting in the fast break. It's just not happening this year, especially like second chance points, opponents' offensive rebounds. Like they're getting killed, especially rebounding. Like they have not, the opportunities are just way down this year, right, Tiago?
Yeah, we should expect some of that without Ben Simmons. You're losing size, you're losing defense, you're losing a lot. But that should even be a bigger incentive for your team and your coaches to introduce different offense into your offense, because things are going to be harder without Ben Simmons, regardless of what people want to think of Ben as an offensive player. Things are harder. He's a better passer. He's a better ball handler. He's got size. When he decides to attack the rim, he does it at a very high level. And the Sixers don't have that player on the roster anymore. So, yes, they're going to lose rebounds. They're going to lose on steals. They're even going to lose on drives to the basket. But that should be a bigger incentive for you to have a change of pace to your offense. I mean, that is basketball 101, man. And, I understand the Sixers want to build an identity in the half court because ultimately that is what wins in the postseason. I kind of get that to a certain extent. But you're also trying to win games. And you try to introduce one of your best players in the offense. So when it does get in half court, he's just not sitting around and watching, time go by. So there's got to be more of a middle ground there. And, we'll see. I mean, Doc Rivers' offense in general have not been very pace-driven ever. Even last year with Ben, it still wasn't what I think it should have been. Obviously, it was faster than this, but they've just swung entirely the other way. And it's time they kind of evaluate where they're at, I think, offensively, because I don't think they can sustain, like you said, Chris, running this static half-court offense through Joel Embiid, who has to shoulder a massive, massive load for this team offensively.
Yeah, and that's like, I thought like everyone saw that in the playoffs last year. It's Joel Embiid, Seth Curry, that two-man game is not enough. It is not enough to get this team to the next level, to get this team to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing we failed at last year, which is just two-man game, throw it to Tobias Harris with 5 seconds left, and that's your offense. We have a question here from Ben Butler. Is Maxey too quick for Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and George Niang? And that goes, we'll wrap this up with the last question. Should Tyrese Maxey come off the bench? Is the bench a better fit for Tyrese Maxey? You talk about, really the number one priority this season is building that dynamic, building that chemistry between Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. However, everything we just presented to you, there's a guy on the bench, Matisse Thybulle, that can get points, deflect passes on the perimeter in transition. That seems to be a really good fit with Tyrese Maxey. I'm not saying don't play Tyrese Maxey with Joel Embiid. Stagger those minutes, be creative. But Tiago, do you think Tyrese Maxey would be best temporarily off the bench right now for this offense?
I think when you talk about players that fit his play style, I think yes. Specifically, if you decide to play, like, for instance, a kid like Charles Bassey over Andre Drummond for a little bit. Andre Drummond's been kind of bad offensive for a while now, and Bass the kind of guy who can also run, very athletic. So when you start thinking about where is the Sixers athleticism coming from, it's from guys like that, like, Bassey, Thybulle. So to answer Ben's original question, I don't think the roster is set up for a team to be in transition at all. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday in their postgame show. That arrow points directly to Daryl Morey. I think that for Daryl Morey to evaluate this roster after a year and think that they should not have more athleticism and not a roster that enables pace to some extent, it's pretty crazy, to be honest. I mean, he has had fast, pacey offenses in Houston in the past. Ultimately, it migrated towards a James Harden isolation offense, which, by the way, won you 0 rings. Granted, yes, he had the Warriors to deal with, but, still it goes back to not winning with that type of offense. And I thought that I think he's done a pretty poor job, to be honest, of surrounding and giving Doc also reasons to run a faster offense, because the Sixers are very slow. We talked about the slow decision makers, not athletic, and that does not lead to pace and transition. So that mix also has to change. And I think that's an easier mixer to change than just, we talked about the Ben thing is a problem. That's probably going to take longer to solve, but you can get guys here on this roster that can run, get up and down the court, and hit shots. I mean, that is not a hard thing to do in the NBA.
All right, let's wrap it up, Tiago. Any other final thoughts? And where can we find you? What do you got going on, man?
Chris, like, he even gave up on the top 5. He's like, I'm done.
Dude, I literally, so I had a work party last night. I came home, jumped on, did a Hawkeye episode 4 review, jumped on the pick swap pot, literally no time, and then watched the game. And then I was exhausted. If you watch the post game show, I was lit. I was drinking all day. it was a long night. I'm hurting this morning. I'm no question. Cheers.
And then cried yourself to sleep. And then cried yourself to sleep.
Yeah, that was brutal. What a game.
Yeah, we're trying to keep up with the Sixers schedule. It's coming up and fast, and there's a lot of content to put out. So we try to keep up as much as we can. It's not always a perfect unison, but we try. Yeah. And I've been trying to think about concept ideas and putting out an article around, where I think Morey should take this team next. I think we talked about this last night. I think it's time for him to kind of have a little bit more of an imprint on the team moving forward. And we're not even talking about firing the coach, talking about just how they can play. And I think a little bit falls on the general manager. I think that's done to be frank with you, a pretty average job, in my opinion, since the draft last year.
And I think we need a real conversation with Joel Embiid to say enough is enough. This isn't working. So that's got to come from the big man. Something's got to be said. They had a full roster last night, and this team is so far from competing. It is not even close. It's not even close what we're looking at here. So follow my man Tiago at T Scabia. Best Sixers Twitter follow, period. If you're not following him, you're doing it wrong. I promise you guys. Guys, hit that smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We'll keep doing these as much as we can. What do we got going on? Wheel of Time review going down today. I'm really excited for that one. This is supposed to be a really big episode. Awesome show. We've got our Christmas movie draft tomorrow night. I've got the 5th pick in the draft. So I'm thinking like Nightmare Before Christmas for my first pick selection. I'm happy about that.
Man, that's a good choice there, Chris. No Die Hard there.
So that's a really divisive movie. That's a really divisive Christmas movie. I don't know if I can do that in the first round. People are like, no, it is not a Christmas movie. And then there are people that are like, they love it. Of course, it's the best. So I'm staying away from it. I'm not touching it. Not in the first round. I want the votes, man. I want the votes because people vote for who has the best collection of 5 Christmas movies. And it's snake style, like fantasy football. Yeah. So I got to hit a home run on this draft, on this first round, because I'm not going to get another pick for a while in the second round. So I'm definitely thinking, Nightmare Before Christmas, definitely Elf. If it falls, it probably won't. It probably won't fall. I'll probably go The Santa Claus. I love The Santa Claus to death. That's a great flick.
You can go they have multiple remakes, right?
Yeah, I know.
You can the whole series if you want. 1, 2, 3.
Steven says, damn it, I missed it. Nightmare on Broad Street. Yeah, that was last night. That was for sure we saw it last night. But we saw it coming, guys. Like if you've been following us, we're going to call it out as it is. But thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you again next time. For Tiago, for myself, stay awesome, everybody.